welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, with my amazing co-host, Miss TJoy for The Bachelorette. How are you doing, Miss TJoy? It's been a while since we didn't do anything for the Men Tell All. What are your thoughts?
Right.
How are you feeling?
This is crazy. It's crazy. It's very, usually when they're like never before unpredictable season ever, you're like,
Most
whatever.
dramatic.
It's the
Yeah.
same old. But this is really really the hell in a handbasket. This is crazy.
Yeah, and this is the thing is that, you know, I know that Love Island is a little bit more fluffy and like it's not as serious but I just enjoyed, like, I guess because I enjoyed Timmy and Zeta so much that, like,
hmm
I can't even get behind either of these two women's journey right now because, like, I don't feel that, like, zing with anybody really. I'm not really happy with just seeing them sobbing
All the
for
time.
the
All the time.
whole episode. I mean, I just don't think what we're witnessing has been entertainment. I think that it just hasn't been pleasant. I haven't
It
enjoyed it, to
hasn't
be
been.
honest.
It hasn't been. It really hasn't been. It really hasn't been. And even now, at this point, looking at the previews, it's like you still don't even know if anybody's going to end up with anybody because it still looks like it's a mess. It still looks like it's a mess.
I don't understand. And like, just to jump ahead, so we're going to review today, but we're going to talk briefly about the Men Tell All. I don't know what we'll talk about, but just to have it in there.
Okay.
Then we'll do both of these episode, the Fantasy Suite recap. And so, just to jump ahead, though, like, what's with Jesse at a soundstage at the end being like, "You don't know how this ends," like, and
Exactly.
then this whole preview of them just crying and crying and crying and people walking away and walking away and crying, 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 walking away and walking away. I'm just like,
It's crazy.
this,
It's crazy. It's
I,
crazy. But I'm gonna tell you something. This is what I don't like. I don't like with playing games because we do jump ahead, but the preview is making it seem like now all this time you whining. I'll just save it because I don't want to get too far ahead. But that Eric is making me mad because he is playing games. These men play games too. They play games. They want to be on TV. They're playing games.
it's hard to say, but like, both Gabby and Rachel, as much as they're lovely people, I don't know if they're emotionally strong enough to be able to handle this show and all these guys and like people having ulterior motives and with what they went through with Clayton. Like, I do not think that they were the right choice for this role because I think that they're too emotionally unsettled. It's too much for me.
hmm
I
I
want them to
agree.
find love, but I just don't know if
I do
they're even
too.
ready for it.
I do too. Yeah. Yeah. This might not be the setting. They, and hi, Taboo.
Hi,
I just want them to have
Taboo.
therapy as well. It's
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah. So, okay. So, was there anything from the Men Tell All that stood out? I remember watching it and being like, "This is a waste of time."
A total waste of time. I fast forwarded through a lot, so nothing really stood out. It
So
was a
you didn't.
waste. I
You
just
did.
like Avon's date, because I wanted. That's how I started watching it because I wanted to see how their hometown date would go, and then I was just like, oh, she just likes him, and that was well, and then the Mandela, and I was fast forwarding a lot because they just get up there, and it's like who has the bigger, it's just I don't want to.
Yeah, I didn't find it very enjoyable personally. Um, that I watched Avon's date. I found it interesting that they keep on going to psychics for Rachel's date. So I'm wondering, because she's a Pisces, if she has interest in the occult and spirituality in that way. And so I did find that interesting personally because Pisces would be one of the signs that would be most into psychic and tarot and stuff like that. So I find that interesting that two of her dates now, because we have
Mhm.
another date on her fantasy suite that has a tarot card reader. So I thought that was interesting. What do you think about Avon's parents? On their one-on-one, he says like, "Oh, they loved you," and I was like, "Did they?" Like, I
I
don't
think they liked her. I think he exaggerated. I think they liked her and
know.
thought, "Oh, she's a nice girl." You know what I mean? But
Taboo, yes, that scene Jesse looked like an apocalypse. I'm like, what's happening? Why are they on like this dilapidated sound stage where he looks like the
exactly,
zombies just came? Like he's just like, this is this is unprecedented. It's like somebody like the zombies are coming out.
right? They're
Ah!
coming. They're coming. They're coming. Yes. I don't know. I mean, and he kept stressing. My parents haven't been in the same room in 6 years. Like, I'm
I
like,
mean,
they
it's
know how to
nice that
behave
they
as
did that.
adults,
I
huh?
mean, yeah, I mean, I definitely think that it's not that abnormal for parents to still get along. Like my mom and dad, my dad calls my mom more than he calls me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like he's been married for 40 years. So it's definitely possible.
Right.
But I guess it says something that they are willing to put aside things for their son and TV cameras. And so they came together. Dabu also says the Logan slander was ridiculous, not his fault dates were canceled. I mean, they were just jumping onto that. It's like, who really cares? Who really cares?
I
And
know.
with how Rachel is handling this season, I'm like, you really want another guy to break up with? You're not good at it. You're not good at breaking up with these people. Like, you don't need another one. But the guys jumping on him, and it's just like, come on, be quiet.
Exactly.
Anything else about the men tell all? Did we learn what was the when everybody gets a trip in the audience? That's what the big surprise is, life-changing surprise
But where did they get the trip to?
on the cruise?
The Disney cruise, right?
Whatever the cruise line that they were using for the
Oh,
show.
no, no, no. Oh, that cruise. I told you I was fast forwarding. I don't know.
Well, apparently I heard that they have to use the cruise by December or something, and there's like blackout dates. Like so
Of
they're not gonna
course.
go through
Of
now.
course. Of course.
All right, so let's get to the first fantasy suite, the first 2 hours that I lost from my life. Um, I mean, like, I watched it yesterday. Yesterday, I watched so much TV, and it just went on and on and on and on. They
Yeah,
need to tighten this up. It was just so long.
it was.
But they're in Mexico, and I thought, what?
Mexico.
I love Mexico. It's definitely somewhere I visited many times. Where in Mexico are they? Do you know?
Rivera Maya.
Mine Revere.
Rivera Maya.
Hmm. So they do talk, of course, about this is the week where like everything went haywire. And it's like,
Maya. With
yeah, no
Haiti.
shit, Sherlock.
Wait.
Like, and
But
it's
that's the
probably gonna
thing. You
happen.
don't want people to keep breaking up the past. Y'all stop bringing up the past. Like,
Hmm.
move on.
Absolutely.
Move on. Move
Absolutely.
on. Move
Because
on.
if you keep on harping on the past, that's what the psychic basically said to Rachel in the
Right.
next episode. But because like if you keep on harping on it, harping on it, harping on it, you have this emotional feeling, these emotional attachments, and then you create circumstances that's going to allow yourself to have situations that you're familiar with, that you're creating. Like when you vibrate that energy of like, oh, that's past and everything haywire, like
Right.
you're going to create that experience for yourself. So I was like, well, this is going to be haywire for sure.
It
For
really was.
sure.
It really was.
So Rachel's been dreading this week. I mean, why are you dreading this week? This week would be like, I'd be so excited
This should
about.
be the best week. I would be so excited. I get alone time with these men. It's one-on-one. I don't have to give anybody attention in a group date. You know, I mean, I get to see the real them. Maybe they'll put their guards down because they're not with anybody else. We get a day, a night, and an overnight. Like, why are you dragging it? She's dramatic for no reason.
I know. I like the fantasy suites. Like, I don't think I'd be sleeping with every single person, but like, just like the idea of having just like a luxury date would be like with people that
Right.
you care about, with people that you're considering marrying for life. Like, I think that that would be really, really exciting. I might dread having to let one of them go, but I would maybe be very excited about the opportunity to have like three really romantic dates with three people that you're really into.
Exactly.
Come on, Rachel.
I also was thinking also is that I think now that they're in this position, I think in their mind they're also thinking maybe not that Clayton shouldn't have gotten, what he got, but they're like, oh, it's much harder than I thought. And you can be in love with all three people because they're all basically saying, I'm falling in love with all three people too.
Some are
So
falling, some are I feel like I'm falling. I'm like they're not all falling, just saying. I'm just kidding.
I don't know because they were saying it about everybody. I swear, except for Johnny. That's the only person I did not hear it about. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm falling in love. Oh my God, falling in love with him. I do love him." It was falling or I am. It was those two, except for Johnny.
That's yeah, I agree with that. Also they're remembering how they fell for Clayton. I'm like, that should be your red flag right there. The fact that you fell for Clayton, this is a red flag. I don't trust your picker. That
Woo!
is not who I'd be picking at all, at all, at all. Hi, Natalie. So Natalie wants to know, how do we think Gabby will do on Dancing with the Stars? I think she'll do very well. She was
Me
an
too.
ex-cheerleader, so I think that she will be very focused. She's a Capricorn, so Capricorn definitely put in the work, like, so she
Yeah,
will work really hard to be perfect at it. And she's very likable, she's very thin. I think she'll wear like the outfits really cute, like I think she's gonna do quite well. And
I think so too.
bachelorettes have a good history on the show. We know Caitlin Bristow has won. We know that Hannah Brown has won. And so I definitely can see Gabby getting up there. I think she'll be lasting a long time because she's a good dancer. So
Yeah.
I think she will be good. Oh, right. So I always judge like the order of the dates because, and remember, I don't know, did you watch last season? Yeah, you watched Michelle's season, I'm sure. And
Hmm.
so remember when the three guys were waiting on the dates and they were kind of, Nate was having a mini argument with Brandon about like, oh, well, I'm the third date, save the best for last. And Brandon's like, I'm the first date because she likes me the most. And I agree with
Right.
Nate that third date means that save the best for last. But then Tino was the first date for Rachel. So what did you think about that?
Hmm. No, Avon wasn't he?
I mean, sorry, wait. Oh, never mind. You're right. Avon went. But Avon, that's what I meant. Sorry. Avon was the first date for Rachel.
Okay. Avon was the first date for Rachel, and I was surprised. I don't know. I thought he was gonna be in the middle because she had just seen him. I thought Tino was gonna be the last date. I thought Zach was gonna be the first. I had the order wrong. I thought Zach was gonna be first, Avon was gonna be second, and Tino was gonna be last. Because I do usually feel like they save the last for, that is how I thought the order was gonna go, but it did not go that way at all.
Now, I'm wondering if because of what they experienced with Clayton, that they chose the person that they like the most first, so that if they sleep with them, whatever, they can be like, it's only you. I'm not going to sleep with these other two people. Like, nobody's having any sloppy seconds, sloppy thirds, or anything like that. And so I'm wondering if that's why they changed it up, maybe just to be
Yeah,
considered
but
of
I
like,
still okay. In that case, though, I thought she was more connected to Tino, so I thought he would go first.
right. I did. I definitely thought that Tino was going to go first.
Okay, you thought that. with that thinking, yeah, that he would go first. But Avon went first. So I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden I'm falling in love with him. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's what we're going with. I know she's attracted to him. I know that much. And who wouldn't be? He is a cutie,
He's a
you know.
cutie.
Hmm.
He's definitely a cutie pie. So Rachel, sorry, before their date, talks about Tino saying that she has really strong feelings for him, but their hometown really rattled her, and their family wasn't very accepting of her. It's true. They weren't very kind to her, and they weren't very welcoming at all. But
Hmm.
like, can I just be a little bit stronger, please?
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just, I don't want to feel like I'm being insensitive, but I'm kinda being insensitive. I'm just like, I'm just tired of her tears. I'm tired about what stresses her out. I'm tired of her needing so much reassurance. It's kinda like one of these cats that I'm sitting, it needs so much attention that it's actually this time it's driving me crazy. Like, it'll just come and sit, put around, meow, put meow, meow, meow. Like, I'm just like, "Are you must be a Pisces." Like, cat, you must be a Pisces because you will not leave me alone.
Mhm.
You need so much attention and affection and needing and needing. It's like, cat, chill. And that's kind of how I feel about Rachel. She's just like this cat that won't chill.
No,
Like,
she won't chill. No, 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 she will not chill.
I
Mm-mm.
don't know. I mean, I get it. Having someone's family want their son to be with you is an important part of a relationship.
Right.
But, like, can't your relationship be stronger? Like, can't you just be like, "Whatever, like, I love Tino so much that, like, I'm gonna they're his family is gonna love me. They're just looking out for their son." And, like, just, like, rationalize it just that they're just trying
Right.
to
And that
protect
it
their
can
son.
grow. Right. It can grow. You're right. It can grow.
And
You
it's
can
just
grow
like,
on them and they can grow on you. It was just one meeting. Like everything can grow.
and it's a really abnormal situation. And
Yeah.
they're right, like, are you just doing this because you want love? Like, their skepticism is very fair, because, like,
It
I could
is.
say that about her and be like, "Are you just doing this because you want want to be married? Like,
Yes.
or is it do you wanna marry Tino?" You know, and I
Right.
can understand a family being, like, a little bit hard. Like, I don't
Yeah.
my dad might be hard on people being like, "Are you good enough?" I mean, and it
Right.
could be that, and, like, I know she might be like, "Oh my god, I just feel like I'm not good enough for him." It's like, well, they're just trying to check and make sure that you are good enough for their son. Like,
Right.
chill, chill. Zach, and he was like, she knows that Zach is so into her, and like everything was perfect about him on paper, and his family is perfect. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't think she likes him that much, but everything is perfect on paper.
Right.
And so Avon, she talks about him, and he is romantic and there's a physical connection, and she should be following that connection because actually astrologically they make the most sense, right?
Uh-huh.
Scorpio, Pisces, that's a really good match, very good
That's
match.
a good match.
And that's why I think they have so much chemistry and they seem to be on the same page about certain things. But
Hmm.
she's just attracted to the aloofness of that Aquarius, and it's gonna
She
break
likes
her
her
heart.
some Tino. She likes her some Tino.
And Zach's a Leo. Ooh, mm-mm,
That's not gonna. She's not gonna be with that.
mm-mm, mm-mm. Debu says your boy Nick Vial. I hate that guy. Not hate, but I can't stand him. I had an interview with Nate on Thursday. Careful what you say because Michelle has been respectful.
Uh, was he disrespectful?
Ooh, wow. I don't know. I
Cause
mean,
see,
I
I don't
saw
put
that
it
he
past.
walked
I don't
on
put it
stage.
past him. I don't put it past him.
I saw him walk
Was
on
he
stage.
disrespectful, Devil?
I don't know. He better have been. Better. Better. Oh boy. Okay, so and then Gabby's talking about Jason. He has been the most emotionally available out of all the men. I was like,
Uh,
really?
was she in for a rude awakening?
Yeah, that's wrong. Not right. Um, and Johnny, and he's like, they might be in two different places. She's looking for marriage. She doesn't think that he's on that page right now. And he talks about Eric and loving how playful they have banter. And I do like their vibe when they are together. Even the first time we talked about it, where they were just lying down.
Yeah, we picked them to be
had
together.
a vibe and energy. And she did tell him that she was falling in. Oh, he did tell her that she was falling in love with. He was falling in love with her, and so she hasn't told him back yet, but she really wants to.
She wants to.
All right, so I said awkward hooju and kind of awkward kisses. Who was that? It was Gabby and who? Why didn't I write down their name?
Eric.
I guess it was Eric. Eric. Yeah. So Eric went first here.
Yes.
And so that made me think that like they switched up the order, that like they're gonna pick their number one person to go first. So I was like, okay, this makes sense to me. I do feel like she's gonna choose him. And they're gonna be jumping into cenotes. Have you ever high jumped or cliff jumped?
No, I have never done that, and I want to do it. It's on my. I don't like to call it bucket list.
Yes, yeah,
I call it my desire list. But yeah, I really do want to do that. I've never done it,
so I've done it a few times, and this one time, my 21st birthday, I went to Dominican Republic, and like we'd gone out the night before, so we were all pretty hungover, and we got picked up by the locals at like 7 a.m. to go on this like Jeep ride. And like I didn't know what we were doing. Like I just paid for all these like excursions and I had no idea what I was doing. So first we had to like there's like a big like water, and like so we go and we start climbing all these cliffs, and there's like waterfalls, and climb this cliff, and then there's a little bit of a landing with like water, and then climb some cliffs, and we get to the top, and it's just like this beautiful cave, and it was like it was warm in there, and like it was just like a little kind of like mini hot spring when we get to the very top. And so then the locals are like, we're like, oh, how do we get down from here? They're like, you slide. And so there's these rocks that have been like with all like the water that's kind of beat against it, it's made them really smooth. And so you'd take like these little water slides like down where what we had climbed up before. And then we get to the bottom, which is not the bottom, it's 50 feet up in the air, and it's just like a landing. And to get to like the next kind of water landing,
you have to jump and swim.
We had to jump and swim. So
wow,
and I'm hungover. I'm like, this is so mean. This is so mean. And the locals were
I would have been my birthday. I'm about to go back and swim all this way.
The locals were just like, oh my God, like they're just like pushing people off. They're like, just pushing them off. And I'm like, don't push me, don't push me, don't push me. I'm like, I'll just jump. And so I just jumped in, and like, but it was about 50 feet high. It was a high jump. I don't know if I would have chosen to do it, but I was like, there's no way down, and I did not want them to push me. So I jumped down. But it was an experience that I had. And
did they make sure everybody knew how to swim before they did all of that, or did people have on?
Everybody knew how to swim. They didn't ask, but no, we didn't have any. We didn't have life jackets, though. No. but
God!
Everybody knew how to swim.
Okay.
So
good thing.
Pardon?
Good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Like, whoops, lost one. So they're doing these cliff jumping. What did you think about the appearance of the black box for every single one of Gabby's bikini bottoms?
I know. I was like, so she has on these G-string ones, and they're like, no showing of the booty. I'm like, okay.
It's so skinny though. That's like, it's not.
I know. She hardly has any booty. I know, to show. I was like, imagine if it was somebody on there with a dunk. They would not, a dunk booty. They wouldn't know what to do. But
she just has like a little swallow.
It would be like.
I was just like, is like, why are you black boxing her bikini bottoms? Yes, it's a thong, whatever, but it's not like a G-string. It still has material on
Do
it.
they
I
do that
think.
on do they do that on
I think
Bachelor
so.
in Paradise?
Remember thinking about all the times where people are supposed to be naked and they have that black box. They love using that black box.
Yeah.
It's
I
part of
know
like
they
their
do it when the
joke, I
guy
think.
comes naked showing his penis, but I didn't know if they were doing it if the with the kind of bikinis the girls had on. I didn't think they were. Oh, okay.
Well,
I don't
these
know.
thong bikinis and super cheeky bikinis are kind of newly in
Mhm.
fashion. So maybe
Okay.
prudish ABC is like, oh, ooh,
We're a Disney company.
touchy.
We're not showing any booty.
Ooh, like, come on. All right, Dabu says the interview hasn't come out yet. Oh, okay. So you're just
Okay.
warning him.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
gotcha. Yeah, I saw like a preview of him like walking in, and I was like, oh, this should be interesting. Even though I can't stand Nick Vial, and I don't. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to be annoyed with the interview. I think I'll be
Yeah.
annoyed with Nate in the interview.
I never really
Um,
cared for Nick either.
mm-mm. I liked him when he was the
What
villain
sign is he?
on.
What sign is he? Do
I
you
think he's
know?
Libra. I think he's Libra.
Uh,
He's definitely a Libra. Um, just yeah, he sucks. No, I remember like I kind of liked him a little bit when he was on Bachelor in Paradise as a villain, and so I understood why he was chosen to be the Bachelor. But like, I didn't like him ever really.
yeah.
So they decided to go up to the highest jump off into the cenotes, which is like really beautiful craters that happen that made these like really big lakes kind of thing, these cenotes, which is really cool. But so they go to the top one to jump off, and Gabby is really scared. Would you have jumped off the top one? How would you have been at the
I
top?
would have been scared. I would have been scared, but he really, helped her and comforted her and supported her, and so it was something that they could do together. And so I thought it was nice that she finally came around and they did it together. But I would have been scared too. I can swim, but I still would have been scared. I was really high up.
See,
So
it took a long time though. I was like, okay, yeah, I hug her. Like I know she was really going through it and he was really helping her, but I was just like, come on, we know you're gonna jump. Just jump. Like I
right.
just wanted her to jump already. It was taking too long for me. I was being impatient, but
I'm telling you, I was fast forwarding through spots like that because I was just like between the crying and carrying on. I was like, where I could fast forward, I did. Like I knew she was gonna jump, so I just fast forwarded to her jumping, and I was like, "Oh, look at her jumping." Okay, good. On to the next day. On to the night
okay. So
day.
you
I was like,
didn't get
on
to
to the night
experience
day.
the dread of like, oh my god, it's like 7 minutes of her like debating
Right.
whether she's gonna jump. Um, that's for me. I didn't fast forward anything. Another thing that made this unenjoyable for me is there's so many commercials. There's just so many commercials, and I was like,
Again, that's
I
why I started late because I can't deal with all those commercials.
so because I'm not at home using the
Right.
app to watch these things, I can't fast forward the commercials. Like if I was at home and it was just recorded on like my cable system, like I can fast forward the commercials. But here I had to watch them all. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. So annoying. All right, so the night portion happens, and he says, "I'm in love with you, Gabby, and I don't want to leave here without you." And he's saying all the right things, and I believe him. I know you were
Yeah.
skeptical. Or you believed him at this point?
No, I believe him. No, I believe him. I'm just saying, like, to do all of this over her and then to see the preview for next week, I was just blown by that. But no, I believed him the whole time. I picked him pre. We
Yep.
predicted that they would want each other pre before it came on. Once it came on, I knew he liked her. I knew when he was mad, he didn't get the first impression rose. It was talking junk. I knew that he thought it was gonna be him and her, and if it ain't him and her, he don't want these other men around. I knew that. I knew their connection. So I get it. You know, I get it. So
Me too. And so she does say, "I'm falling in love with you. I really am." Um, and so then I wrote like, oh, interesting that this is the first date. They do get the fantasy suite card. I don't know if they read it. I feel like they
He
didn't
said,
read
I
all
got
of
the
them.
key. And she like, you want to? He like, mm-hmm. And they kind of just, because they've been waiting, girl. They've been waiting.
That's true.
Like, you know
I
what it
do, not that like
is.
I'm trying to be nosy, but I would like to hear like a little bit more of like girls gab. You know what I mean? I mean, like I want to talk to Gabby and be like, so how was it?
Mm-hmm.
Good? Was it good, Gabby? Like, I want to know a little bit more about like the connection. I know she does mention at some point that when she kisses him, like she like, I don't know, goes into another galaxy or like something. She's like, so I do want to hear more about their connection a
Oh,
little bit.
I think it was real good because remember when she woke up, she was just, when it's good and you wake up, you want to cook breakfast. See, you don't want to cook breakfast for stuff that's not good. Remember she woke up and she was like, I'm gonna cook you some breakfast. And then he like, okay, but he was helping her. She was over there making that vegetable omelet and stuff. And then he was like, okay. And he was putting the bacon on the thing. And I was like, when you get inspired to make breakfast, it was a good night. It was a good night.
Um, but clearly she didn't bring a steamer with her to like Mexico. Her little nightie or like her like camisole set, it was just so wrinkled. I was like,
It was.
you can't, it's so wrinkly. And I'm not really a
She
stickler
getting
for
them
those things, but you're on television. There is a person there with a steamer. Please
right.
steam my satin or silk jump like nightie.
Right.
I was annoyed. But I thought they were cute. I do agree with you. I do think that they had a good time, but I want to have some gabs with Gabby. I want
Yes.
to hear it. Tell me everything. I want that. And that's kind of what I want from her relationship with Rachel, but she's just not good at it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's not the gabbing that I want to have. I want to hear
Right.
all the details, and I don't know. Rachel doesn't get it out of her, in my opinion.
Right.
What did I write here? It sucks that our relationship, that other relationships are happening. So he is that there? Yeah, I guess so. But
That's
like,
Eric.
oh, yeah, Eric is probably saying this is in his ITM, like and I understand this. It would suck. It would suck.
Yeah, but why is nobody strong? Everybody acts weak on here. It's like you be confident. It's like no one has any security in this. Like, be confident in this. Be steadfast, staying strong in this. Your father is sick on his deathbed. You are taking time away from him. Stand tall in this. Be confident in this. Like, worry about him and not your connection. Know that it's solid. Like, nobody can be stand tall in any situation. Everybody is insecure about everything, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is
It's exhausting.
exhausting. And I think it's because it seems like this happens more so when it's the Bachelorette, that guys seem to not be able to handle this as well as the women do. Because the women are always being strung along, in my opinion, by men. And guys usually have the upper hand in these situations. They get to decide. I have to say I love you first. I got to just to hate how this relationship goes. I dictate the pace of this relationship. You know what I mean? Like it is typically how a traditional relationship would go. The men would be taking the lead. And like I've been taught that men should take the lead because like if the women take the lead, then it doesn't really create the dynamic that that can be conducive to a long-lasting relationship. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule, but in general, you want the guy to say I love you first, the guy to like, show the interest, the guy to call you the first time, the guy to pay for the date. Like that's just how it has to happen for traditional relationships to work well. And so I think that because this is out of the ordinary in traditional sense, I think that their nature is not allowing them to be confident in their relationship because this isn't the position that they're used to being in.
Right. They want ownership, and it's also men are never like, you don't even know she doesn't even, you don't know if she's sleeping with them or not, but they automatically go to that in their head. Like, nobody can have my girl. I can't have anybody messing with my girl. That type of thing too.
Yeah, you gotta kind of shut that off. Sorry, Eric. But this is
Mhm.
where she does say in her ITM that she wants to tell him that she loves him, but she's gonna wait for the perfect time, the right moment. All right, we see Tino feeling sick, knowing that she's on other dates. See, like they can't handle this. They can't handle this.
Handle. Hmm.
They can't. But Avon is the first date, and they're on a boat.
A yacht.
A yacht. She's apprehensive about the L word because of Clayton. And it's like, well, if you feel it, say it. Like,
Hmm.
that's the thing is, like, I don't believe that Clayton felt it for everybody. But I think he said it because he thought that that's what you wanted to hear, Rachel. I'm sure you were just
I need it. Yeah.
like you're probably trying to extract it from him, and so he had to say it. But yeah, I liked her. I like her and Avon together. It seems a little bit of like a juvenile love, but I do feel like she's going to be overlooking their connection because she's so enamored by Tino. Because I think that I think that they're actually better suited. I really do. Not just because of their sign. Like I just feel like he says the
But
right
I think
thing.
I think she has so much sexual chemistry with Avon though. Like you could tell when she woke up, it was like, honey, I had a time
Oh
last
my god.
night.
I
Like
know what
she
I
wanted to tell us, I had a time last night. And she looked at the camera, she was like, our connection got very deep. It got much deeper. Like she was trying to tell us something. And I was picking up what she was putting down. I was like, girl, I get it. I get it, girl. I get it.
so during this date, they're cutting back with Tino, and Jesse's checking in with Tino. What's with Jesse checking in with everybody? I was like, they need to give
Just
him a
because he
reason to
don't
be
have nothing
there.
else to do. He don't have nothing else to do.
And so, he's Tino's saying to Jesse that this week is going to be awful. And Jesse asks about hometowns, and he doesn't really say what actually happened at hometowns. Like her
Right.
parents hated her and it was awful. Like he kind of pretends like it was better than it was. And they're just cutting back and forth with like her on this date with Avon, and it's so romantic. And at the night portion, okay, before we get to their like overnight portion, she they did something different with
Go.
her hair, and I was like, maybe they shouldn't do something different with her hair because I thought it looked not good. Not good. They did something and it just looked messy and like puffy. And I was
No,
like,
that's because she said the humidity there. I
I
thought I saw
know
in
the
another
humidity.
clip
Oh, mhm.
that she was just like the humidity was terrible, and it was every time she would get her hair done, it was like,
Okay. Well, a hairdresser should know that if you have humidity like that, give the girl a damn bun.
hmm.
Like I don't know.
That's when
You
her hair looked the best. At the end of last night's season, when her hair was in a bun,
she looks
that's when it looked
beautiful.
the best.
If you don't have hair that can handle humidity, like, and you don't really have a face that can handle big hair,
Right.
like that shit slicked back in a bun.
In a
Like
bun.
do variations of buns, but like bun.
Mhm.
Like I don't know why they
Not
were trying
variations
to
of a
do.
bun. And I love a bun, so I'm with it.
It's shocking to me that they would allow her to go out with hair that looked like that. Sorry, I just said like that hair does not look good. That's what I wrote down.
She was
So,
struggling with it the whole time.
mm, mm-mm. And I'm not, like, obviously people will have to deal with humidity, and like if I was on vacation, I wouldn't expect I don't know, do whatever you want with your hair. But she's on a TV show where millions of people are
Mhm.
watching. They have the best hair people in the biz that money can buy.
Right,
Why can't she have hair that looks good in humidity? Like you should
right,
be able to do something about it.
right.
So she does see a life with Avon. She does have a question for him. Like, do you genuinely see yourself being engaged in 2 weeks? And Avon's like, I can. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. I think she should go for him. I think he would.
I
I
think so
think he would.
too.
I think he would
I
stick
think
with her.
me too. I feel like that's gonna be the best bet. But
If she
hey,
wants a lasting relationship, I think it should be with Avon because Avon
right.
is in.
But she
Tino
not
is
gonna do that.
too much of an aloof man for her. Like Tino's not going to stick around. I don't think. So we
And
get
I
the
think
fan.
he got a little I think he got a little controlling ways in him too. He trying to keep it at bay right now. He's trying to keep it at bay.
But she probably
But
likes that because it makes it feel like he loves her so much that he wants to own her, and it's like, oh, toxic, toxic.
until she starts crying to her family and friends. He doesn't let me do anything. He doesn't trust me. You know, I have to go out of town for work. I'm a pilot. And I think he's think I'm doing something and I'm not doing. I can just hear her complaining and crying.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Rachel wants Tino, but she needs Avon. He has the patience to deal with her
Yes,
neediness. Absolutely,
yes,
because
he
he's
does.
needy in a different way. He's a damn Scorpio. These water signs generally like to be emotionally coddled. And so he would be the one that could handle this emotional coddling
Yes.
because he will reciprocate or retaliate, or the way that he will respond to her will be appropriate, and she will find it
Mm-hmm.
satisfying. He can
Right.
handle her. So they get their fantasy suite card and they go to the room. They get fireworks. I was like,
Oh,
fireworks
that was
is a
nice.
sign usually
Yes. And
of
he was trying to look at the fireworks and she was like, kiss me. She was
no.
all over him. That man couldn't do nothing. When they was on the yacht, he was just trying to enjoy the sun. She was like, no, kiss me. Like, it was like kissing. I mean, I know they kissed like at least 700 times that day. It was just like, all she wanted to do was kiss, 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 kiss. Because I'm telling you, that electricity is there. That spark, she feels it like in every step they take, and she just be wanting to kiss, 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 kiss.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, ooh, in the morning, her shoes are on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Them gold shoes. Yeah, gold style shoes.
Avon is the full package. And I wrote down, oh, she is
Oh,
stigmatized.
yes,
Stigmatized.
yes.
Definitely just, I'm like, he is giddy and he wants to start a life with her. Like, they had a good time.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what, she needs to follow this. Follow this bliss.
I think that's probably the first time I mean, we know, that he's mixed, but he's black, And I think that's probably the first time she was with a black man, probably.
Probably.
And I think she was like, oh, this is what they mean.
I thought the exact same thing. She's probably like, oh, I didn't know it could be like this. Like
Right.
going from Clayton to Avon. I'm sure Avon, even if he's inexperienced, is gonna be a better lay than Clayton.
Right.
Right?
Right. Right. Clayton don't know what he's doing.
Avon would probably the motion of the ocean, And she's probably be like,
right.
Yeah. So she had a good time. So we do see Tino is excited for their date. And he is the sure thing. She's excited but nervous. Tino is next.
Tino was next for
Wow,
Rachel.
yeah,
Yep.
I guess so. I mean, this was just so many hours of TV ago that I'm just confused.
Yes.
When they walk up together, she does a standing hooju. So they walk up to each other and then she stands and she jumps and wraps her legs around Tino. Tino does say that he's not able to handle, the house and what's going on. Anyways,
Always gotta coddle down. Right.
Just gotta sigh. Were they at the same cenote as Gabby and Eric? Because it's they had a little ledge with a blanket where they went to sit on and talk.
It looked different. It looked different to me.
I felt like the part where they're like, if you went to the left of them, I thought that that might have been the same like jumping setup.
Oh,
I don't know,
okay.
but I don't, maybe not, but that's something that I was looking at. She has so much anxiety though, coming off of hometowns.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we got to talk about it again for the 15th time. Mm-hmm.
And so she does kind of mention what his dad said, her dad said, and he was surprised that like I
His dad
don't know.
said that.
Yeah,
I
he's like, oh
know.
my god. I don't know if it was there or if it was somewhere later on, but like at one
It
point
was
he
when they
did.
were sitting, they were like kind of like sitting at the bar, like, because, I mean, or some kind of table or something, because he was sweating so hard.
I mean, I'm a sweaty
He was
person, but
sweating.
I feel bad for
I
them.
mean, the back of his shirt was so, I mean, it was it was hot. It was
It
hot.
reminded me of, do you remember Josh Murray
Yes.
on Paradise? So sweaty with
Girl.
Amanda and like his pizza. But like, I don't know,
He was
Josh is still really
so
hot.
sweaty. He was so sweaty. Oh my goodness, he was so sweaty. Mm-hmm.
Oh, leave him alone. I'm a sweaty person, so I have to have compassion. I have to have compassion. I have hyperhidrosis, so I understand the
No,
excess
I get
sweat.
sweaty too, but it's just like when you see it on camera and it's like they can't stop. You just want to say, give them a fan to stop. You feel like it's abuse.
Totally.
Like, give them a fan, put them in the AC. It's too hot, you know.
So when I filmed the commercial last summer, like it was so hot. And like it was inside a house, and we had to obviously turn off the air conditioning when we were shooting. And
Mhm.
like I literally had like all the makeup people like with fans all over me, like in between shots. So I'm just like standing there, and
Ooh,
they're just like, just everybody has fans aimed
yeah,
at
like
me because
help
like
me
it's
out.
hot.
Help
I was
me.
hot. So they have the manpower, but I think they wanted to see him sweating, you know?
I know, right? Literally, he was sweating like for this conversation.
So before that, when they're still at the water, whatever. So wait. Oh, Tina doesn't understand why Rachel looks so nervous, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, your relationship's annoying me too. But they eventually do jump in the water, swimming around,
Kissing. Mhm.
kissing, of course. In the night, obviously, she's in her head. I just, you know what? I think part of why I can't get behind this is that I'm not that emotional. I can be emotional. I can cry. I can be emotionally connected, but I'm just not this emotional about things.
I know.
I'm unbothered. I'm an
I know.
unbothered sign.
Yeah.
You don't like me,
Aquarius,
like
Aquarius is. It's a very unbothered sign.
I'm over it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, I
Mhm.
deleted you. I'm like, okay, we're done. That's fine. It's go. Like I might be upset for a second, but done. Like I just like won't dwell on these emotional situations, and so
Right.
for me, it's just getting a little bit exhausting.
Hello.
Oh, it's too much. Dabu says, have y'all seen what Tino's daddy has been saying on Facebook? No way he says that that if they are together. Ooh. Dabu, tell me more.
What
I
did
have
he say? Give us the tea. Look,
yes.
Chantele, bring up your mug. I have this. Bring up your mug. We want to sip it. We want to
I am
sip it.
drinking tea.
Give us the tea.
I'm drinking Earl Grey vanilla tea.
Ooh.
Okay. So I want another cup. Earl
Right.
Grey vanilla tea. Please. I have heard that he's been saying things online, but I haven't heard what
What?
it is.
Uh,
So Dabu, please give us the tea so we can
mhm.
sip on it. Hi, Flip. Thanks for being here. Okay, so nighttime portion, she's just really scared to move forward. Get it? Fine.
Mhm.
And then she says to him, she's like, is there anything on your mind? Just like she's just always just begging for compliment. It's just
Attention and
so annoying.
confirmation, reassurance. Yes, she begs for it. Begs.
I just can't with her anymore. I can't.
And he's like, look, I want to let you know, regardless, they will come around because I'm going to be with you. I want to be with you. I'm not going to leave here with us not being, we're going to be together and they're going to come around. That's just it. She's like,
Mhm.
okay, okay.
He's like, you said you were nervous, and I want you to always tell me what's going on with you." And it's like, I don't think he actually does.
I don't know if you actually want to hear that every day, all day.
Just because I'm just coming from an Aquarius, like I can't stand okay, not in
Needy,
therapy sessions,
needy.
not in like, if I'm working with someone on like in a paid session. That's a completely different type of patience and acceptance for where people are. That's completely different. But
Mhm.
in my day-to-day life, if I have a friend that keeps on asking me the same advice over and over again, or I have to keep on like making them feel good about like I just they're not my friends. Right? Like
Right,
I'm
right.
not the type of person that really gravitates towards somebody that's not willing to put in the work to make the change, right? Like if you're
Exactly.
in a relationship that you're going to complain about, I'll give you advice the first few times and like I'll listen first few times. But then at some point I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be listening to this anymore because you're not doing anything to change the situation.
Change it.
So
Right.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't. You're going to do what you want to do. Quite cool. Do what you want to do, but I don't want to be part of it. And I feel like that's what's going to end up happening with her and Tino
Mhm.
because it's just a broken record. Broken record. Shabu says they're in Mexico, same as Bachelor in Paradise couples get engaged, drenched wet.
Yes. Remember, Riley and I mean,
Oh my god, yes, they're sweaty.
sweaty. Ugh.
Poor thing. Poor things. Um so she says I got scared with hometowns and what am I writing here? And so she says that his dad said, "I'm not going to disown him, but I won't accept it." It's pretty
Right.
harsh. It's pretty harsh, but it's like
And
I don't know. It's their oldest son, and they probably want a different outcome for him. I get it. And so he's like, "Wow, oh, wow, I didn't know that." He just taken it back a little bit, which is funny. But like, why didn't she tell him back then that he said that? And then he could
I
go
don't
and maybe
know.
talk to his parents and be like, "Well, what do you really think? Like, how can
I
we
didn't
do
hear
this
him.
over? I
I
like it."
mean,
Mhm.
not saying that he didn't say it, but they didn't show him saying that.
True. Because that could be how she interpreted it.
Uh-huh.
Um, well, he's like, "They know that I wouldn't be here if I didn't have really strong feelings for you," which is true.
Right.
I think like no matter what, they're gonna do their best to protect their son, and in the end, he's gonna be making their own choices. And
Right. Because
we
he's a
go to the
grown man.
hometown
Right.
to ask their opinion, and their opinion is we don't think this process works, and we don't trust it for our son. But he's gonna do what he wants to do. He's an adult. That's how
Right.
she should be looking at it, in my opinion. But no, she doesn't cry about it. And he's like, they are gonna love you. I don't agree, but
Lies.
and Rachel is just eating up everything I said. Like I'm just like
Um,
she's eating it up, and I'm like, man, you're so easily convinced. But he's like, I love you, Rachel. And she's like, I love you too.
uh,
Fantasy sweet. I wrote down I would absolutely love you. What is that talking about?
huh?
Oh, I guess I'd absolutely love to go to the fantasy suite. I just made a
Uh-huh.
typo. So they're gonna go to the fantasy suite and Tino yelling. Did he yell? I love Rachel. This is the best night.
Yeah.
Oh, in his confessionals. Oh my god. Okay, Tino. Yell it. Scream it to the rooftops. I
In the
love
confessionals.
Rachel. It was in the
Not on the terrace, not on the balcony, but in the confessional. Okay, sir.
So the next part is Johnny is on moonshine. What am I talking about?
Johnny and Gabby are about to meet.
Mm-hmm.
And They get on a little boat. It's not a yacht.
Oh, Moonshine is the boat. I was like, what's Moonshine? What am I talking about? So yes,
Mm-hmm.
Gabby is on Moonshine with Johnny. Um,
Johnny.
we knew that they weren't a couple.
We
Like
knew
they
it.
weren't,
Yeah, we knew
there
it.
was nothing between them. He doesn't look at her like some like maybe a high school relationship, high school girlfriend. He
Mm-hmm.
gets girls. He doesn't have trouble getting girls. We
No, he
know
doesn't.
that he's taken girls out on his boat before. You know that
Yes.
he's brought girls home to be
Johnny got to
with his
look like
family.
Johnny family got a few coins. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
Where are they, in Florida or are they in California?
Florida. Florida.
I was gonna say, like, I'd say he's like an OC boy, but I don't know what the equivalent is in Florida. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like he's just definitely like well off white guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
he gets girls. Like
Right.
so I was just like, man, this isn't gonna work. But so Gabby also felt this. How do you feel about Johnny being like, Gabby is like the dopest girl I've ever hung out with? The dopest.
I I think that's listen to the verbiage he's using. I think that's probably true because I think he probably doesn't really commit long, doesn't stay
Yeah.
long. He's
Yeah.
here for a good time, not a long time. You understand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
So
definitely only has girls fighting over him, like,
yeah,
he's not emotionally available to many of them.
yeah. Mhm.
Libras tend to jump from relationship to relationship without having a break in between. So, yeah, I think he's probably had a lot of girls. Um, okay, so when she was walking, they're walking off the boat, and they're on the shore, and she was saying that when she her feet gets cold, wait, she gets thirsty when her feet get cold. I've never heard
Cold.
of that before.
Yeah. I was like, that is so weird that she put that correlation together. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
I
Your
don't know
feet
if I
get cold
agree.
and you're thirsty. I don't know.
I've
I
never
wonder
heard of
if she
that.
was saying it as a joke because I think she was saying it as a joke because the champagne was on the blanket waiting for them. Because I just didn't understand it.
Maybe it was a
So
joke.
I was like, maybe it was a joke because that was the only thing over there on the blanket was the champagne and two champagne flutes and stuff. So I was like, maybe she's saying, "Oh, my feet are cold. Let's go to the blanket and get something to drink." Because I couldn't understand it any other way. It was
Yeah,
weird.
maybe like you get some champagne to warm her up. Thirsty for
Mm-hmm.
some booze, get her feet warm, it's cuddly,
Mm-hmm.
cozy. So she needs more reassurance before wait, she needs more reassurance before hometowns. I guess like before she brings him home to meet her family.
Yeah.
Um she is frustrated that she needs to keep on kind of like asking him to like
Yeah.
say what he
Mhm.
feels, and she needs more from him. She needs more from him, and she doesn't want to ask him directly about his feelings. He just wants him to say how he feels. Um yeah, but she doesn't want to do the overnight with him. Yeesh. I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't either. But like, why is he here? There still. We knew that he wasn't going to get there.
I don't know. I guess she was just feeling like she had a good time when she met his family at the I don't know because I don't know. I always knew her connection with him wasn't deep. And she knew that.
Hmm.
But I think maybe she felt like it was going to progress and it just wasn't progressing. I don't know because I felt like she knew that.
I mean, I guess you
She,
also need other people to dump. So like, let's just like bring these people along because like I know that I can break up with them. I don't know. I don't know, but he eventually he does say like I don't think that I can get to an engagement in a week. I'm not ready. And so
right,
and she's like, "Well, this is the end of our journey." And he's like, "Is this our goodbye?" And they're kind of hugging and she's like, "I think so." And I wrote down I never thought that this was going to work.
right,
so,
right. I never did either.
so that was the end of their journey.
Hmm.
Taboo says, honestly, think Johnny stayed in Mexico to film Paradise.
Oh, hello, because we did see him on the preview that he's going to be on there. I was like, can you be any more obvious? You didn't even wait for them their date to conclude.
He's like, I'm just gonna go to paradise. It's a completely different part of Mexico, so it's actually kind of far. It's like a couple hour flight, I think. It's like, yeah, I think 2 or 3 hour flight to Puerto Vallarta. Or well, they're in Sayulita, but and the Mayan Peninsula is like on the Cancun side, so it's actually kind of far away. But maybe he did just fly over to paradise and just go directly in. No going home. Out going home. All right. So Jason and Jesse have a chat. And he's like, "Do you feel like you're falling in love?" And he's like, not quite. It's like, okay, uh-oh. But it's getting there. And I was like, not quite is the answer. That's a no. That's a no. But Jason knows for sure that he is not ready to get engaged. Mm-hmm. So, Gabby gets a date card, anonymous date card, and it's like, "I need to see you. I'll be waiting on the bridge." So she goes out, and I was like, "Oh, there's that green dress. Okay, this one ends in tears. What happens here?" Mm-hmm. But do you see that Gabby, I know she doesn't have the same hair as Rachel, but like Gabby has been utilizing the bun a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. In the daytime, she's been maybe doing, sometimes she's putting her hair half up, half down, but she is recognizing that this humidity is not great for having hair all down. You need some of it off your face because it gets too poofy. And she had a pretty bun here for this meeting, this clandestine meeting. And so no surprise, it is Eric. And, you know, Eric is having a hard time, and with the fact that she's going to be going on these other dates with these other guys. And okay, I know that we were saying that like the guys should just have a little more confidence in the relationship, and I don't think that he was necessarily coming from a bad place. I do think that he really wanted to see her. I do think that she just wanted to he wanted to get a little bit of reassurance because he had such a strong date with her and a strong feeling with her. I don't think that he meant to say, like, "I don't want you to sleep with other people." Like, I don't think that that's what his intention was to seeing her. I think he just wanted to remind her how much he loves her and like how much, he wanted to like be with her. And then with the premise of the show, her be like, "How are you feeling?" And then he told her how he's feeling. And that kind of sent things in a whirlwind where she's like feeling as though they had already had this conversation on their overnight. So why is he bringing it up again? So I think that it was a miscommunication. And I think that she was being a little bit oversensitive. Because like she was kind of asking him how he was feeling, and he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. I just want to see you one more time, like whatever, da da da. So what's going on?" And he's like, "I don't know. I just like I'm scared to see you go with other people. Like I feel like you're my girlfriend, my person." And so he wanted just like to see her one more time. Like what if it's the last time they're going to see each other? So I was actually on his side for this whole thing, and I thought that she blew it out of proportion. But I don't know what you think.
I think that it very much was not his intention. He just wanted to see her. He misses her, and he just wanted to see her, hug her, to remind himself of the connection they have, so he can get out of his head and survive the next few days or however many days he had left until the rose ceremony. I do know that. I don't think he was even going to mention it, but I do think once he saw her and he felt that instant joy of seeing her, he also had this look on his face like, and so I think it's very much, just when you care about somebody, to be like, "What's wrong?" When you see this look on it, like, "What's wrong?" And I think he should have just kind of said, "Oh," I think that he should have in that moment have said to himself, "I'm going to tell her and not tell her." So I think he should have been like, "Oh, nothing. I'm just so happy to see you, but I know it's not going to last long. You're going to leave," or something to just reassure, because he knows.
I don't think he would have been able to say anything. I don't think he would have said anything that wasn't going to set her off. Because if he said like, "Oh, like I know that's not going to last very long, you're going to leave," she's going to be like, "Oh, like you're trying to make me feel guilty about like the other relationships that you know what I mean?" Like I think that she was going to take everything badly.
Right, but I think it was just the way he said it, and especially if y'all have have talked about it at length off camera. She doesn't want this conversation to be on camera. Like, so she specifically had it for you, with you off camera. Cause you're just doing too much. And he like, oh, but I do appreciate that he apologized and
He felt
and she
bad, and
does
I don't think it was his intention to bring
no,
up that
me neither.
conversation again at all, but, like, this show, they keep on asking people, like, "How are you feeling? What's going on? What's wrong?" Whatever, and it's like, "I just wanna see you." Like, that's it. "I wanna
Right,
see you. That's it. I'm feeling insecure. I wanna see you." Why I'm feeling insecure? Don't ask me that if you don't wanna hear the answer, or if you don't
right,
think the answer is me, pressuring you or giving you an ultimatum or making you feel guilty about what you're doing. Like, you feel guilty about what you're doing because that's what you're doing. If I'm your
right.
person and you're gonna go sleep with someone else, that's all on you. But like, I could like, I don't know. I thought that she got mad at him. Like, it was just a little bit. I was on his side.
Okay.
I was Team Eric for this, personally. And so she's just like, "You brought me here to tell me this again. You already told me this. We are, when you're rehashing this old conversation. Like, we had this conversation." I'm just like, "Gabby, like, if this is your person, you're just kind of breaking his heart a little bit. The fact that you're seeing other people. He gets that it's the show, but like, I don't know, have a little bit." I know that she was in the situation before and she was able to handle it better. Absolutely. But like, really remember that if this is the person that you're planning on marrying and he's feeling insecure about you going on other dates, like, I don't know, have a little bit of compassion for the fact that,
Yeah,
like,
true, true.
it would feel really shitty.
Yeah, empathize. Yeah, yeah.
So, especially with them being like, when it happened with Clayton and stuff like that, like how badly it felt. Like, what about how he feels?
Hmm.
So I was surprised that she immediately. I know it's her journey, but I would have liked to see a little bit of empathy from Gabby, even though she might have given him all the empathy he should have needed in the fantasy suite, and this was just like annoying her. I still think that if it's the person that I love the most in this world, I would want to give them as much reassurance over and over and over and over again in this weird circumstance. Like, even maybe to laugh it off, being like, "No, like, what's going on. You know what's going on. You know what's going on. We
Don't
talked about
start
it.
that today. Don't
We
start
talked
today.
about it. You know what's going on." Like, just like say that like 10 times and he'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, you told me in the fantasy suites that I'm the person that you're picking and that you're not going to sleep with anybody. Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine." But like, I don't know. You know who else wasn't able to do this? Miss Katie Thurston, right?
Yes,
She was
yes,
not able to give Greg the reassurance that
yes,
he needed in order
yes.
to make him feel safe. And I wonder if this is a Capricorn thing, because Miss Katie Thurston's also a Capricorn.
That's true. That's
Interesting.
true.
Taboo says her connection with Nate was stronger than the rest, but he has a kid. I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I see them in a relationship together.
But it was stronger than Jason's and Johnny's. I can tell
Okay,
you
yeah.
that much.
Yeah,
So
I
if
agree with
it
that.
would have came down to if Nate didn't have that child, he definitely would have made it to overnight. He
Yeah,
definitely would,
Johnny would have been
because
out, I think,
yeah,
and Nate would have been in. Debu says we often question contestants' readiness for marriage, but rarely the lead. With the trauma she experienced with her parents, is Gabby ready?
right.
Well, she's definitely doesn't
Are
seem to
either
be ready
one
to
of
be
them
loved.
ready? I'm gonna be honest. Are either one of them ready? Like, it's just
I think Gabby is ready if she allows herself. I think what I've been noticing about what Gabby keeps on saying and affirming over and over again is, "Am I too broken to be loved? Am I too
right,
broken to be loved?" That is her story going on in her head. That's her subconscious belief. So that is what she's going to be having experiences around, because what you focus on expands. What you are energetically resonating is going to be showing up in your life. And so I
right,
feel as though she is going to be attracting situations that are going to show, "Am I too broken to be loved?" It's going to affirm that for her. And I think that if she is able to allow herself to be loved, I think that she is then ready. But it's if she's going to let herself. She
yes,
needs to allow herself to be loved and not be worried about being too broken. because
Mm-hmm.
if she thinks she's too broken, she is. That's just it. It is. You are self-actualize whatever you believe. Um I feel like he is testing me. I don't think that he was testing her. I didn't pick that up. But I also think that this is her insecurities that are like completely like making her spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts talking about maybe her person isn't here. All right, so that was the end of the first fantasy suite episode. The outro, there was a huge lizard that her and Rachel were
That
laughing
hopped on
about.
that table, hopped on that table. That
You didn't
lizard was
fast
like,
forward that part?
I'm getting me some pineapple. Okay, what do y'all want? You gonna give it to me or I'm gonna take it? And I'm gonna take it.
I've never seen a lizard that big, to be honest. It's a big lizard. Lizzie lizard. So, night 2 of Fantasy Suite, the last night's episode, Gabby returns to Eric and he's crying. I felt for Eric. I felt for Eric because
Yeah,
I really don't think that his intention
but
was.
I had to fast forward. I'm sick of the crying. I had to fast forward. I'm sorry. I'm sick of it.
I cried a little bit though. I
Ooh,
cried for him because, like, I understand that he like this is such a weird scenario, and he really likes this person, and he feels like he's in a relationship with them. I understand him feeling like she's cheating and it hurts. And then feeling like he just wanted to see her and then all of a sudden now maybe he has lost her. Like that would suck. I'd cry. I did cry. She felt pressure, blah blah blah. Then we see Gabby talking to Jesse,
I just
and
have. Sorry to cut you off, but I have this thing with when I let you know what it is. This is just my own thing. When I It bothers me when people know what it is in the beginning, or I let you know what it is, and then you start acting funny when you agree to the rules, and then you start acting funny midway. That just bothers me. Like that's just a me thing. I don't like that because I'm someone who likes to make things clear because I don't like a lot of gray areas. So I don't try to keep changing the rules in between or not being clear about my intentions or what I'm gonna do or what's gonna happen here. So I pride myself on being very transparent and very clear. This is what's gonna happen. This is how it's gonna go. This is how I feel. Blah blah blah. And then you're like, okay, okay, okay. And then halfway or almost, you want to change. No, 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 no. You agree to it. Now, at any point, you can decide, I no longer want to participate in this. And that's fine. But what you're not going to do is try to guilt me while you're participating after you agreed to the rules. I'm not doing it.
so sorry, relate this to who this was the
With
Eric part that
Gabby
he.
and Eric, yeah, you knew what it was. You also were one of the guys who were like, when Chris was saying that, I'm not dealing with a woman going to fantasy suite. You were one of the guys who was like, oh, he's saying this, and you don't tell the women they can do whatever in the fantasy suite. Remember when Chris got booted out?
I don't remember
Like,
Eric saying something specific, but I remember Chris. Yeah.
okay. So what I'm saying is everyone knows that this is how it goes.
Okay,
And she
but okay, what
reassured.
I kind of correlate this to is like what was popping into my head when you're speaking about this is like a booty call situation. And so you have a booty call, and that's the agreement that you have that, like, whenever you had a couple drinks and you want to have some lovin', you call up this person and they're your booty call. And then someone falls for the booty call. And it's like, well, this isn't an arrangement. Like, you're not supposed to have feelings about this. That is why I can have a little bit of grace, because when they made this agreement, it was before they had any feelings and any skin in the game or any sort of
Right.
want to be with the lead. And so I can understand that, yes, that in that moment when he decided to come on the show, when he decided to start dating Gabby, when Chris was making these statements that like of course, like, they can do whatever they want. This is before he cared about this person. This was just like another human being that there's potentially is going to go in a fantasy suites with some people. Like, it's none of my business. Who cares? And so, but then it's like all of a sudden now you have feelings for this person that you weren't. like, I don't know if he'd make the same agreement if he had feelings in the beginning. You know what I mean? So I'm going to
Right.
give
No,
a
I
little bit of grace
understand.
now.
But I also always tell my girlfriends when they come to me, I always remind them, you knew what it was when you got in it. Now you can decide to continue to be the
Sure.
booty call, knowing you got feelings, and he ain't having it because he made it very clear in the beginning. So you can continue to torture yourself. But what you shouldn't do is kind of lecture him about something that you agree to. I always remind my girlfriends of that. Cause
No, and I
and
agree
that's
with
why I don't
that
do
with
booty call because I'm not built like that. I'm not built, like that because I know how my feelings can change and stuff. So I don't put myself in that. But I just, not that I'm not empathetic, but I just like I'm a Virgo. I like the rules and structure. So you knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. So I got where
I
she's an earth
agree.
sign as well. So I got just her frustration. They're not as rigid as us, but she's an earth sign. So she's like practical, like, sir, don't do this to me. I'm already going through enough. You can't do this to me. You're testing me. I don't want to be tested too much.
Uh, she needs a sprinkle of Aquarius unbotheredness, you know? Just a little sprinkle.
She needs
Be
some Tino.
unbothered.
They need to switch.
She needs a sprinkle of Tino. Just unbothered. Sprinkle of Jason. Jason's another Aquarius. See how unbothered they
Oh,
can be, right?
yeah.
So we see Gabby talking to Jesse, and she's worried that maybe they're not meant to be, and just because of this whole situation, and she's feeling as though they're not able to communicate properly. And I think that she just asked him a question and he answered honestly, and he should have just kept his mouth shut. Basically.
I thought they communicated fine before that. So I was wondering about that too. I'm like, do they not? Am I missing something? Because I'm like, maybe they're not showing something. So I was like, I thought they communicated well, but maybe not. I don't know.
Well, we got some maybe in the fantasy suite, like maybe he couldn't read between the lines with her being like, "I'm picking you."
Right.
And he's like, I want more reassurance. I don't know. They're both Capricorns, so they should be able to vibe out pretty easily. But so I was curious if she's just going to push Eric away. And I'm like, he's just feeling insecure. I'm like, I don't see what the big deal was at all. But coming from your perspective, I could see it being like he knew what he was getting involved into. They've had this conversation already. But I do think she blew it out of proportion. Just be like, Eric,
Yeah.
I really like you, but I'm not having this conversation again. So let's just
Right.
have fun.
That's what I would have said. Exactly. That's what I would have said. I'm not doing this with you today.
And
if you want to talk and make out on this bridge, we can do that. But that conversation,
you should have done that and
there,
made a joke about it. Just be like, I'm not having this conversation again. You know how I feel
right,
about you. Let's just make out.
right,
And he's like, okay, fine. We'll just make
right,
out. He would have been
right.
fine. He would have gotten over it and it would have been fine.
I
But
think so too. I think he would have gotten over it too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like how she kind of walks away all the time.
Yes, that is annoying me. Oh, that's annoying me. And we see that later with Jason. That annoys me. He came looking for like, what you doing?
Are you
coming back to the table?
I don't know if like they just cut it out, but it seems like she never says, "Okay, will you excuse me? I'll be back in a moment." Or like,
She
it just seems like she just gets up and leaves. I was like, does he know that you're gonna leave? Like, what?
Her motto is, I leave tables where I'm no longer being served. It's like she just leaves up and leaves.
Yeah, out of there. Out of there. So we see Jason. He doesn't think it feels right to get engaged. And we're just like, Jason has never felt like this situation was right for him. Like from the very beginning, it was always their dates were very awkward. Their kisses got better, but their kisses were awkward. I was just like,
but she thought he was the mysterious, like, oh, he's the mysterious type. Like he likes me because
silent.
remember when he said I was going to leave, but you made me stay. So at that point, when he said that to her, she was like, "Oh, he really likes me. He's just the mysterious type, and he just doesn't like this process. But he's staying for me. He's staying for me because he has strong feelings for me. And because he's the silent type, he wasn't telling her anything, but she was making it
Making
up
it
in her
all.
mind, and it was not right. What she was making up in her mind was a lie.
It was all a
It was a
lie.
whole lie.
They do have an awkward hooju hug jump when they meet up, and she just like, I think the producers forced them to do the hug jump because it's like she like jumps and she's just like giggling and like and like oh, like and hug kiss and I'm just like, if the hug jump is not natural, I can't see you giggle off this hooju every single time. And so
Every
I
time.
I don't want Gabby to hug jump anymore.
Production needs to stop. Production needs to stop. I mean,
The first
can it
time I
be
noticed
original?
it,
I mean, it loses its magic. Everybody does it every single time. Stop it. Just stop it.
the first time I remember it was from uh what Becca Kufrin's season, where I was like, man, they have a lot of hug jumps in this. And like, I just remember there's this one scene, it's like a big wide shot, and she's like running and just like a hug jump around. So it was probably like Garrett or whatever. And I was like, oh, man, they're always doing this hug jump. So many hug jumps. That was the first time that I noticed
Mhm.
it was with her. So I'm wondering if there was a hug jump forward producer that was hired on her season that's still around, because I feel like they forced the hug jump. I think they're like, okay, so you're
Yeah,
gonna run into his arms and jump. Ready and action. Like, like I totally think that they make them do it, which is
exactly.
kind of funny. Now I have to say, seeing anyone in their element in something that they're very good at makes them very, very attractive. Because I was never really feeling for Jason. Like, he's an attractive man, but like I wasn't really like,
Mhm.
You're hot." Like,
Right.
but when he was out on the tennis court for their date, I was like, and he's just like so carefree with like how well he was able to handle that ball. I was like, hmm, like, this is
And Gabby was
impressive.
doing good. Gabby was doing it look good, keeping up with them.
Definitely. I mean, I'm sure he was giving her easy serves and stuff, but like, I was very impressed by the confidence that exuded from
Mhm.
him on the tennis court. So I
Right.
thought it was like, I was like, first I'm being like, oh my God, they're giving him a tennis date. Tennis is so not sexy. I was like, no, but it's sexy when somebody is like near pro level, and
Right.
feeling confident and in their element. So I thought this was a good showing for for Jason.
Right.
Definitely very cool. So yeah, I'm like, he is hot on the court. Wow, confidence. Wow. Then they go to the pool. We got another black box spotting because she's wearing a cheeky bikini bottom. Um,
Mhm.
and then we see, obviously, while they're on their date, and she's like, they're practicing the dirty dancing lift. And it
Yes.
seems as though Eric, who's obsessing on the balcony, can hear them, but they can't. He couldn't hear
Right.
them,
But he
right?
couldn't hear them.
I don't think
Right.
so. So in the nighttime, Jason wants to be fully transparent, and he basically lets her know that he cannot get there in a few days. Um, and she's like, he says for him, he's more of a realist. And I was like, that's that Saturn energy. Yeah, Saturn is going to be more of a realist for sure. Um, and so he says, though, and this I felt bad for Gabby for hearing, was like, he doesn't feel like he knows her.
Mhm.
And I don't feel like you know me. And that would probably hurt me the most, because then it's like, well, what have we been doing together this whole time?
Thank you. Thank you. That I felt her on that. What have we been doing? Why are you taking somebody home to your parents you don't know? Like, come on. What's going on?
It's so brutal. So she goes off and cries. Like, okay. And then he goes and finds her and tells her that he wants to continue getting to know her. No, he doesn't, but he didn't like to see her cry. So he's saying anything to make him feel more comfortable about the situation, I believe. Um, And so they want alone time. So he
What do you
he
think about that? What do you think? Because I'm like, you already knew. Just throw in the towel. You both of them already knew, but she was like, maybe some alone time, because one night can change your life. One night can change anything. And I'm thinking, are you gonna try to give him something to make him change it? I just didn't
no, I
understand
don't think so.
what
But I'm
the
like,
purpose. I didn't understand what the purpose of going, because I'm like, he's not gonna change his mind.
I think that she was hoping that not being with the cameras and just being able to have real conversations, talk about life, talk about if it's possible, like really see each other for who each other are without any sort of show being put on for cameras might be a way to allow them to connect even further. And so that's why I think that she thought that an overnight, date would allow them to have a deeper connection that seems more truthful than in front of the cameras. That was my thought.
I I could get that if she was just trying to have a relationship. But she
Mhm.
has made it clear that she wants to be engaged
That's true.
and she's ready for marriage. This man kept saying, maybe I could see us getting serious one day. I want us to
Well, he
continue
kind of
to
didn't
see each
say that
other.
in the beginning, though. He's like, I don't know if I see that in the future. And that's what he
Right.
said. He's a realist.
But then when he tried to reassure her, he kept saying, maybe, could, might. I mean, it was always words that could never come to fruition. So, and then it was always about just entering into a relationship. It was never like marriage. So I just didn't understand when you're ready for marriage. We're not talking about a relationship here. We're talking about you want to be married. He's not overnight. He's not going to propose to you in two weeks. So you just got to let this go. Just like you let Johnny go, you're seeing. But the difference is that she had stated that she was falling for Jason. And with Johnny,
Mhm.
she had not fallen for him. But
Mhm.
with Jason, she had these strong feelings because even though he was being silent this whole time, she had made up a story in her head
Mhm.
about how he felt about her. And I think it was the ego that wouldn't let him go because she knew. She knew.
Mhm.
She knew.
Definitely, she knew. Definitely. Well, before she got up and cried, I thought that she was going to be like, "So is this it?" I thought she was going to break it
Right.
off there, and then she allowed it to continue on into the overnight portion. And then in the morning, it was like an apocalypse happened. Like we see the wine glass with a dead bee, and the
He's
champagne
in
with
it.
a
I
dead
know.
bee. In it. Like it looked like people had to live there. It just looked raggedy, and
Nobody
I was
touched the
like,
room service. Everything was
yeah.
looking great.
I was like, uh-oh, uh-oh. Um, so she says maybe it's not meant to be. So whatever happened in their overnight portion, they concluded that it's over. But she
Mm-hmm.
still wants to go and say bye to Jason. I'm like, why are you torturing yourself? Just like be unbothered and let this man go. Like, don't go and like hurt yourself. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. But she doesn't. She wants to go and say goodbye. And so I did like this though, what she was saying. Like he had to be like, I'm sorry, da, 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 and like he kept on apologizing. And she's like, you don't need to continue to say that you're sorry. You don't need to compliment me. She's like, but I'm just gonna tell you, you led me on. He
Yeah.
did. He did.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did.
You did. Yeah, he did. And by you telling me how awesome I am, that doesn't lessen the blow. So you can stop it. You can stop it.
I'm good. I've had enough of your I don't need
Right.
your compliments. That's
Right.
I would just have liked your truth like 2 weeks ago, maybe three.
Right.
So I definitely feel as though she was in the right, but I think that she should have just let it go. You know what I mean? I don't think that she should have had that last conversation with him because it just all it
Me
did was
neither.
hurt her, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And
He just
she
want to be in Bachelor in Paradise. That's
you
what he
think
wants.
he's so not
Mm-hmm.
like sexual to me, like or like want that. I don't know, it's weird. So she's crying in her ITM, like I try not to be reckless people and everybody was reckless with me. And it's like, it's not that he didn't want an engagement, he didn't want me.
Me,
Oh, just don't take it so
because
personally.
again, it's the theme that I'm unlovable. See what I
Yep.
mean? Everything fits
Mhm.
into the I'm unlovable type of situation.
Yep. And she believes this. She's going to create situations in her life that's going to reflect this because the
Uh-huh.
universe gives you what you focus on. Jason didn't want to break up on TV and look like an a-hole. That's true. That's true. So he wanted to put all those compliments in. But she's like, yeah, do you know what? You're acting like an asshole. Like, I
Right.
want you to show your ass like an asshole.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree, Taboo. I agree, totally agree. So she's like, Johnny doesn't want me. Is it me? Am I too broken for anyone to love? What if Eric decides that he doesn't want me? It's
Oh,
like,
I felt bad for her.
I feel bad for her, but she just like I'll if I had like 6 coaching sessions in hypno, we could get Gabby like really exuding like the it girl vibe that she is. She's an it
Mhm.
girl.
She
She's
is.
she's good. She's a catch.
Yeah, I
Like
believe so. Yeah.
she just needs to believe it. If she believes she's a catch, all these situations would not have happened. Right? If she just knew that she is that girl,
Yep.
like and like not be bothered and just be like the guys would be flocking to her. They'd be like, I just need some attention from Gabby. I need like they would
Right.
be obsessed with her. And so she needs to feel confident about herself in order for other people to be attracted to that confidence.
Hmm.
Oh, Gabby. But maybe you're right, Debu. Maybe she's not ready for marriage. Maybe. Okay. What is it? The last overnight now is with Zach. Is that our last one? Really? I guess. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess so.
Rachel. Yeah. 3.
And Zach is so giddy and excited. He was another sweaty person. They're sitting at the bar and they are chatting and they're sipping on tequila, which is like I like this date. I love tequila. I love
Me
Mexico.
too. Mhm.
Um, Me and my best friend just love Mexican food. Like the whole shebang is our thing.
Mhm.
And so I was enjoying the beginning of this date for sure. Rachel really feels as though she fits in perfectly with Zach's family. I'm like, okay, so you can see
Yes.
see yourself there. Okay, cool. Um, so this one I thought was really weird. Zach says that he doesn't think that he's ever raised his voice.
I mean, I'm just saying for 20, 25 years old and you never raise your voice and your parents don't raise their, I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
How have you
Maybe he meant
never?
in maybe he meant in an angry way. He's never raised his voice in an angry way. I don't know, but still, it's a lot.
Even as a teenager,
Mm-mm,
you've never raised your voice and slammed the door? Like what?
mm-mm.
I, I mean,
Not in his,
I mean,
not in
possibly,
his
but like
Huckleberry Finn life. Uh-uh.
that worries me a little bit. Just that, like, is there any unexpressed emotions that like are being repressed? Like, if you don't raise your voice, like, of course, I think that it's appropriate to choose other ways to communicate and to. I just don't know if he's that mature, right? Like,
Yeah, he's only
is he
25.
is he not raising his voice because he is choosing other ways to communicate, or is he not raising his voice because he's just stifling it and not dealing with the situation? So I don't know, but I think it could be a little bit of a cautionary flag. I don't know if it's red, maybe orange flag.
Do you think Rachel was impressed with the size of the house, the money that she probably like, oh, his uncle's an actor, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure everyone was at y'all's house, and just that they welcomed her. I think she was glistening at that, like impressed with, like, oh, I could live a good life with him, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like she'd fit in and be like, "Oh my god, I'd fit in because like they have everything, like they have such a yeah." I think so. He definitely had a nice setup going on for sure.
Hmm.
I fit in there too. So Debu says, I am ready for paradise, needs some positive vibes. Even Shanae looks tolerable. Yeah, I'm like excited for Shanae. I want Shanae's antics. At least it's a little bit lighter. Like these people are just so annoying. I'm with you, Debu. I love you, Gabby. I like you, Rachel, but I'm ready for your story to be over. And I
Yes.
really hope that you guys are happy. I hope so.
Woo, one more episode, shit.
One more, and then is the after final rose right after, or is it the next week?
I hope it's the same day because why else are we live? Like it needs to be the same night because
That's true.
this already happened. So
Right.
we
We're gonna be
should be
watching
live.
it with the after the final rose
Right.
in between. All right, so they go trying on hats and they're eating grasshoppers and they see the card reader. The card reader basically is saying to her that she's allowing the past to dictate what's going on in her future, which we've been saying this whole time about both of these women, that they're just using their past circumstance to dictate their future outcomes, and it is ruining their relationships.
Yes.
So the nighttime, he's so into her, and she's explaining how she felt at the what did I write? Oh, at the psychic, and she's like, "Oh, like this is how I was feeling," and what the psychic said, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't really notice that at all." Were you gonna say
Right.
something? And he talks about like what happened with Clayton, how that was awful, and what she's experienced, and I was like, I don't know if I think that she should be bringing up Clayton on her dates with other guys. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't
That's what
know.
the lady just told her. All she do is focus on the past.
Just I don't I would just
That
like
man name has been brought up so much on this show. It's like he the third wheel. It's like his name is just, and I wouldn't even give him the satisfaction. I don't even know why they bring him up because I wouldn't give him the satisfaction.
mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. So yeah, he says that Clayton was awful. They get the fantasy sweet dates, the overnights. In the morning, I mean, I think they do it on purpose by not putting any music or anything in the background, but that was awkward.
It was very
I was like,
awkward.
"What is happening here? This is the
That's
most
what I was trying to figure out. It was
uncomfortable
very awkward
thing."
because when they were talking about how we haven't slept, you could tell it wasn't because they was having sex. It was like, it was so, he was like, that was a lot to take in. And we talked for hours and hours. And I was like, uh,
Do you think that she just said over and over again, like, "Are you ready?" And he would be like,
yeah.
"Yes, I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Are you
Yeah.
ready?
I think she
Yes, I'm
did
ready. Are
because
you ready?"
that's what she does. That's what she does. And I think he was very frustrated by it.
I mean, and he's a Leo. He's not gonna want to always be giving the energy that way. Come on, like you tell him how much you like him and how you want to put him on a pedestal. He's gonna resonate more with that for sure. It was just so awkward, and she kept on asking him if he was sure, and her concern freaked him out.
Out.
Like this is the first time you're recognizing this is her personality.
But his tears looked fake. When he went to go talk to Jesse, I was like, what are you crying for?
It was
I
all
don't know.
weird.
Maybe I'm
All
just
of it was
over
weird.
everybody crying. I'm like another person crying.
Yeah, so he goes and he talks to Jesse, and you know, like her major hang up was his age and whether or not he's 25, and she's like she's 26. Like, how are you a couple months older than me? You're more ready than I'm ready, and like, uh, I think he was just turned off by her. Like
Right.
without the cameras, he said like he didn't even recognize her, and he didn't even know who the person who he was falling for was. So how is she acting that he didn't recognize her anymore?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think instead of her, usually she has the, oh, pick me, reassure me type, oh, I just want to have fun and kiss and be in love and stuff. I think she was in there and she was serious and she was like, look, I really don't think you're ready. This is why I don't think you're ready. I think you're young. I think she went over all these things. She was probably critical of him, and he would try to probably reassure her. And then she would be like, I think you're just saying that. I think you don't even know really what you want. I just think that she probably was hammering in like she doesn't think he's ready. And I
I
think
get
he
it.
was exhausted by that.
I would be sorry. I'd be like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. Like, whatever you're doing here, I'm not ready for that. So if that's how you guarantee that I'm ready for something, I am not into it. And the fact that she felt, it seems, like things were so well, like such an amazing overnight date. Like,
Mhm.
what? Where are you? What's going on, Rachel? How are you realizing? Like, how are you not seeing that that morning was the most awkward, uncomfortable
Yes.
morning ever? Like, it was so bad.
They couldn't even agree on the coffee. You think it's his? I think it's bitter. And I know he wanted to say, no, you're bitter.
Dabu says Clayton is like 30 men ago. Move on. Mhm. Didn't he say he brought up religion and politics? It must not be aligned. That's true too.
Yeah, he did say all that was brought up.
But yeah, she's probably was just like hammering in on just like it probably wasn't fun. It probably wasn't a fun overnight date, and probably wasn't romantic. It was probably just like rules and like sign the okay, you ready? Like you're signing the paper, right? Like oh my god, no, I don't want that. So yeah, he says that she was different behind doors, and he wants to tell Rachel that the next time that he sees her, and so and then he's at the rose ceremony. I'm like, well, you should have maybe brought this up before the rose ceremony.
I
Like,
gotta talk to her. Right, I gotta talk to her before she gives out the roses. I'm like, why couldn't you send her a note and talk to her before
mhm.
y'all even got there?
That's definitely the producers stepping in, but so annoying. So Tino and Aiden arrive. I don't know when if I wrote down when Jesse said that it's just gonna be you. Oh no, it said when Rachel arrives. So Tino and Aiden arrive, and then Rachel arrives and learns that Gabby will not be joining her. She's like, oh okay, okay. And then she gets in.
She says her journey is her journey, your journey is your journey. Like to let her know, like you have to do this, and she's doing hers another way. Because y'all are separate beings. I sometimes feel like they gotta do everything. No, y'all are separate. Have separate journeys.
Mm-hmm. So she gets in front of the men and talks about I had amazing overnights with all of you, blah blah blah. Who do you think that she was sending home?
I thought she was gonna send Zach home. That's what I thought, but I don't know. And then I was like, well, maybe she was gonna send Avon home because she loves Tino. She really loves him. But I thought her feelings for Avon were stronger than Zach. But I feel like she wants that lifestyle that Zach
Mm,
presents. And
mm-hmm.
so, so I don't know. It was between Avon and Zach. I knew she wasn't sending Tina home, but I was like between Avon and Zach. So
So in front of the men, Zach is like, Rachel, can we speak? And so that's cut to Gabby wants to see Eric and tell him how she's really feeling, and she does the longest walk down the corridor. Like the poor thing,
I
like
mean, is
having to
she
like
trying to strut in that skirt or what? Oh,
but like looking chill. Like she does this every day. But like she's practiced that walk. Like it was such a long walk. And Eric is worried about the rose ceremony and he's still in his room. Longest walk ever. And she gets to Eric and I was really worried at first because like I was like, is she gonna
me too.
ruin all of these relationships? Like I get it, she
Right.
wasn't interested in Johnny and that she wanted to let him go, and that made sense to me. And then Jason kind of, I mean, she should have known ahead of time that this was gonna happen, but her and Jason weren't gonna be working out. And she just got into this huge fight with Eric over something, a misunderstanding that I think could have been preventable. As like, is she just going to prove to herself that she is not lovable by breaking up with Eric. So that's what I thought she was going
I
to
was a
go
little
in.
worried.
And
Yeah, I was worried
so,
too.
because like I was having a feeling that she was pushing him away because his feelings for her are so foreign, right? She doesn't allow people to feel a certain way for her. And even with what Eric was saying to her about like, you know, I feel like you're cheat, like that's what I'm feeling right now. Like I love you, I care about you, like I want to be with
Right,
you. I think that she's
right.
probably also unfamiliar with that as well. That she's like, I feel like it's making me not be able to be free and do what I want to do. And I think she's not used to allowing that type of love. So
Yeah.
I was worried she's going to mess that up. Cut back to Tino and Aiden thinking that this is a bit of a Hail Mary on Zach's part. And then we get Jesse on that damn soundstage after the apocalypse. And he says this is going to be the most emotional finale in history, the most shocking finale of all time. And then the outro is Zach and Rachel talking about 16th century and how she looks like a Renaissance child. Woo!
And he was like, I'm attracted to that. She was like, don't say that. Don't say that.
That's kind of funny though.
Don't
But
tell
she
anybody you're
doesn't
attracted to
have
a child.
she doesn't have a sense of humor. I mean, I'm not saying being attracted to a child is funny, but like I thought that was a little bit funny.
I'm glad we have one more episode.
Yeah.
Whew.
I'm
just
done
let's
with
just
this.
get through it.
I really had higher hopes for this season when it started.
Yeah. We both did.
I mean, I covered it because I thought I was going to enjoy it more. Unfortunately, I haven't. Hopefully they get a happy ending. I really hope that Eric is able to, I don't know what's happening with Eric. So he's going to basically be like, I can't get engaged now. Like,
yes, that's what he was saying in the preview. And she's like, get me out of here, because she's like, I'm gonna do all this. You were jealous. You want to be with only me. You saying music to your ears, that's all you wanted, and all this stuff. And now you don't want to get engaged. Ugh. She like, you playing games. Get me out of here. And then I don't know what's going on. Rachel, it was Avon looked like he was talking to Jesse, like he was upset. Tino, it looked like her and Tino got into it. Then I thought I saw that. I don't know what was going on in that preview. It was a lot. So I don't know what's going on with her.
It was a lot. I believe the episode's going to be on Tuesday. So we might have to do the recap on Wednesday because it's probably going to be 2 hours plus like an hour. Like it might be 3 hours. And having that on a Tuesday.
It's not coming on Monday?
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I saw on the episode guide that it was going to be Tuesday.
That might be right, because it'll be the first night of Monday Night Football. Maybe they don't want to compete with that.
Bachelor in Paradise is going to be on Tuesdays, so maybe they're trying to condition us to Tuesday night stuff, you know? Taboo says Rachel clearly wants Tino. Saying Zach is not ready for marriage is manipulative way of putting blame on him, going into gaslighting territory. That's maybe what he was getting pissed off about. Yeah, because he hasn't really done anything to show that he's not ready for marriage.
Exactly.
And that's part of the risk of the show as well, right? Like, if you get to the end and he says, I can't marry you, I'm going to have to give you a promise ring. That's how it ends, babe. Like, it's happened many times.
Yeah.
And the most successful couples are the ones that don't get engaged. So,
yeah, that's the chance you take.
It's the chance you take to pressure somebody into making sure that they propose. I think that they need to take that pressure off and still expect it, but like just the pressure of it. It's just like, it's not working anymore. It's not working. Well, that is it. Is there anything else from these last 2 episode fantasy suites that we needed to talk about?
No.
Agreed. Thank you, Taboo and Natalie and Flip for being here in the chat. You guys are great. Thanks for all your insight. Thank you, Miss TJoy, for being patient with my schedule, to being able to do
You're
these
welcome.
recaps, and B, still, even though we are finding this season to be rather exhausting, to still showing up and having so much energy and insight. That's been so much fun. Ooh, hold on. Dabu has a theory. I have a theory. Scene in preview where Rachel is in jeans talking about someone lying is post-production. It's a house in LA, and it's a breakup similar to Ari and Becca, Peter and Hannah Ann.
So you think she chose Tino and then it was her and Tino breaking up? Girl, oh, you might
Ooh.
be right, Dabu.
That's like actually good. Like, you're like,
Ooh,
yeah, that's good. That's a good theory.
you're good, Dabu.
That's a good theory. I've only watched it once, kind of haphazardly, but I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, I'm gonna
Lot of
go
sense.
back and watch the preview again. I was
Mhm.
so just done last night. I didn't even watch the preview. Sometimes I watch the preview like 2 or 3 times. But last
Mhm.
night I was so exhausted. I just watched it.
Well,
The one
I
time
usually
it was like,
watch it with I don't know if it shows up in your algorithm, but with Bachelor Fan Take. And so he usually does like episode or preview breakdowns. And so he'll go
okay.
through and be like, this is what could be happening, and he kind of like sleuths out what's happening in the preview breakdowns. So I think I saw
Oh,
that he
okay.
has one up, and so I'm going to take a look at his finale preview breakdown sleuthing, to see what
Okay.
he has going on.
Can you
So yeah,
send it to me if you see
yeah,
it? Like, send it to me.
will do.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Canadian. He's Canadian, and he was. I don't know if you don't know who he is, but he used to never show his face, and when he hit 100,000 subscribers, he finally showed his face on his live stream. So it's kind of
Oh,
he's pretty popular, like 100,000 subscribers, and he pretty much only does Bachelor content. So
wow.
he's
Yeah, that is popular.
pretty popular. Well, Dabu, thank you for this is good insight. I think
Very
that
good.
is a very, very smart prediction. That's smart.
Thank you for that tea, girl. Thank you
Yes,
for that tea. It was
and
good. It was some good
we
tea.
will be. Oh yeah, that is good tea. That's how also. Thank you. We'll be back next week. Probably maybe this time. This time works for me. Next Wednesday, maybe to do our finale recap, depending
Okay.
on what time it comes on. We'll put that loosely into the schedule. So we'll see you all then. Please like this video. Can we try to get this video to like, I don't know, like 50 likes?
Mhm.
100, please? That would be a lovely. Subscribe to this channel. Also subscribe and follow Miss TJoy on all social media platforms, and leave a comment. What do you agree with what Dabu is saying here about her theory on how some of this finale goes down? And do you have other predictions? No outright spoilers, please, but if you have any predictions as to what is going on in that finale. So let us know in the
Yeah.
comments below. And I guess we'll see you next week. It's finally
Bye.
over. Bye, everybody. Thank you.